Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Divine Union podcast. And if it's your first time tuning in with us, welcome. Today is going to be a really beautiful episode. I'm really excited to talk about this topic that has been coming up a lot in my couple sessions and my one-on-one sessions. And it's a topic I love so dearly. In fact, my third book is on this topic of this dance between togetherness and separateness and partnership in life, in all of our relationships. And how do we maintain our sense of sovereignty, our sense of separateness and individuality, as well as maintain and nurture the connection and the love. This dance that we experience in partnership also mirrors this dance that we experience in life. This, I am a human being, an individual being, yet I'm also part of the whole. And also seeing the role I play in the whole, however the whole impacts me, yet also the separateness, the sovereignty, the agency. In partnership, it's the same dynamic. I am an individual being with my own thoughts and opinions, ways of being, ways I do things, yet we're also a partnership, a team. And so there's commonalities there that we desire to have, desire to find, so that we operate in harmony. Now, what can happen over time in partnership when you've been together for a long time, 3, 5, 15 years, even longer than that? Maybe you've got kids, you have a whole life that you've built together, is can lose the sense of self. This can even happen in the beginning stages of a relationship or dating, where we lose our sense of self, our sense of individuality. We start to forego all of the things that made us attractive to begin with, that made us unique, that filled us up, that we were passionate about. And we forego that for the sake of the connection and the relationship. And sometimes it's conscious, many times it's unconscious. And it's fueled by this desire to connect, because as human beings, life is lonely. And we want to share our experiences with other people. And so we can tend to feel as we're in relationship, because maybe if you are looking at your own patterns, maybe you're someone who you notice when you're alone, you feel good, you feel sovereign, you feel independent. And then when you get in partnership, you enter into a codependent state where you're all of a sudden you're feeling incomplete without them. You're needing them. You're realizing how much you're clinging to the connection instead of also nurturing the other side. And this happens a lot. The world is this way. And it's also acknowledging, it's so deep, it's so complicated. I'm like, wow, I'm articulating. It's good practice for me articulating how I speak about these topics, but it's this practice of, I'm going to be connected to you in quote unquote disconnection and sit through my discomfort. So for example, if you're sitting in your room with your partner, maybe you guys have a small home or an apartment, maybe you have a big home, but you're both in the living room together. How do we allow ourselves as partners to be in the silence together? So to be connected by the fact that we're both in this space, we're connected to ourselves. And that commonality makes us connected. And so allowing spaciousness to be as a couple connected to self and connected to partner. Because when we are if we're, let's say, sitting in the room with ourselves and their partner, and maybe we're watching videos and we want to share, oh, I just came across this funny meme. Oh, I just had this conversation yesterday with a friend. And we're constantly reaching out to connect because maybe it gets a little uncomfortable, which it is sometimes. Silence, tension, it can be uncomfortable. It's true intimacy when you can be in the silence with somebody and it's uncomfortable, no matter what it is, what kind of relationship. But if we restrain from reaching out for the connection, and we hold it until it's like, okay, now I'm really desiring to connect. I'm going to reach out. It strengthens the bond. Now, this is not to play games. This is a subtlety. This is deep. This is complicated when it comes to these dynamics, but it's feeling into, when do I need to share? What do I need to share? What do I keep for my own secret garden of my mind and my heart? What will add value? What will not? Am I reaching out and assessing? Am I reaching out because of like this angst to maintain the connection, to reignite the connection, be affirmed of the connection, validated? Or am I reaching out because I generally desire to? And looking at that and looking at when we feel that loneliness and we want to share, where did it come from? What's the intention behind it? Because the thing is, we all feel deeply lonely in life. Life is lonely. And no partner fills that. And when we expect a partner to fill that, we will never be satisfied. They'll never be enough because we're expecting them to fill something that is a part of humanity that will never leave us, is that feeling of incompleteness, feeling of loneliness. And it's really a feeling of separation from the divine and from the divine that we are. And this is why I stand for at the core of my work, whether I do one-on-one work, whether it's for my group programs or my couples immersions. It's around wholeness because it's doing inner work to strengthen that wholeness that grounds us in that sense of jitteriness of life. It's like this emptiness, this longing, this loneliness, this weird feeling I can't explain, but I just can't focus on anything because I can't even like be with myself right now because I don't even know what I'm feeling. It's confusing. And the fueling of the wholeness, because knowing no one will be able to fill us up as much as us, and also acknowledging the desire to share because it feels good to share. We want to share as human beings when we experience beautiful things, when we come across a new restaurant, to go there with somebody, when we have a beautiful moment in nature. It's like you want to tell that story because you want someone to feel that with you. It's kind of like, why do we cry when, not always, but why can you cry when you have a really profound orgasm, whether with partner or solo? It's because that deep polarity, that deep state of connection and oneness, whether you're solo with self, with the divine, whether you're in partner connection with partner, that then it also creates this longing, this lack, this sadness. And it's also maybe the sadness that the moment's gone because of the beauty of that moment. I'm going to cry. It's like this polarity that we feel. I love this work. I love this topic so much. It's such a deep topic. I don't often cry in these. Can you tell I love polarity? For those watching the video, can you tell I love polarity? And it's so much more than the way that people talk about it. That's why I'm excited also for my book, because this is it's deep, but it's this feeling that will never go away. And so also acknowledging we also need the space to deepen in partnership, the connection. And the space allows us to fuel our desire to connect, even though it's hard to take the space, even though sometimes the space breeds fear that we're going to lose the connection. It's allowing yourself to disconnect. And that could be simple to make it tangible. That can even be, I'm going to close my eyes while you're talking to me, and I'm going to feel into how I'm receiving what you're saying. And I'm going to feel into what I want, what's true for me. It can also be, I'm going to take space and go do my practices, even though I'm afraid of losing the connection, or, we're going to slowly drift apart if I do, but it's taking that space. But it's also being mindful of not going the opposite end, where I've also worked with couples where, we're both parties are in hyper independence and they're not even together at all. And what you want to do as a couple is you want to create spaciousness for you to be together while you don't have to be fully engaged in conversation. So sitting together in the space, because that's when interesting conversations bubble up and people say things and, oh, I thought of this. And like, it's interesting, I'm like philosophical, if I'm thinking about life, I can't bring up a real deep philosophical topic with another person if we can't have space in our conversation. And it's letting the spaciousness be to then fuel the connection instead of judging it. Is it wrong? Is it weird that we're not talking in this moment? What does that say about us as a couple, as a partnership, as a husband and wife, girlfriend and boyfriend, as lovers, without making it mean something? Because it's through the space that the magic can truly happen. You see what I'm doing right now with my hands for those watching the video? What it's bringing up for me is like there was this one SNL skit that's like a Lincoln commercial joking on Matthew McConaughey, and he's like rolling his fingers around. And they're like, yeah, just be rolling up that booger as I'm like as I'm talking about things. And I feel that as I'm like rolling up this imaginary booger in my hands as I'm riffing on polarity, crying, laughing, all the feels coming through in this one. And so it's like, how do we let ourselves? Like, I don't even know where to go from here. It's just, it's toggling in and out of the connection and of the space. And that's such a good thing for a coupledom and a challenging thing to do. And this is why I also love the communication work, because it also takes communication sensitive, attuned communication to be able to express if like you have a boundary in a moment or you want to stay in your own space, your own zone, your partner is reaching out to connect, and how do you gently push back in ways that don't cause closure, that aren't hurtful, that are sensitive to the other. And that our communication enables us to be in the sovereignty. Without the communication, um, it's challenging to be in the sovereignty, because then you're worried. I I don't even know how to say what to say in a way that will be received. I don't want to push them away. I don't want to say the wrong thing. So then we forgo our needs for space, and then we enter into codependency, and then we feel exhausted, and then we feel agitated by our partners, and then we feel frustrated with our partners. And then we start to maybe feel disgust, the lack of desire goes away. You name it, so many things. And it's also, we all want to be seen and to see and be seen. And so when we're in partnership, how do you allow yourself to fully be yourself and allow yourself to also be witnessed in that? So if we're both in the same space and they're reading, how do I allow myself, if I just want to sing for a moment out loud, to sing? If I want to stretch, if I want to dance for a moment, do a yoga move, fart, burp, who knows, whatever it is, to do you and not feel like you have to connect. Because that connection, sometimes we feel like, oh, if I'm going to do something silly, I got to like look at you and acknowledge I'm doing something weird. Like I can't allow myself to be seen. It's uncomfortable. It's vulnerable. And so how do we also challenge ourselves to allow ourselves to bring who we fully are to the table in partnership without having to connect, but be connected in the fact that I'm letting you witness me, partner? That's the connection. That I let you see me in my fullness, in my humanity. This is by far my favorite episode I've ever recorded. And I could keep going. Honestly, I could go for hours on this topic, but I'm going to let that marinade and land and continue to bring it up over time, because in different ways, and find ways to speak about this topic. And it's going to fuel the connection. When we can do that, we're going to feel more fulfilled. Our relationships will feel more balanced. And the passion and polarity, that's why I say that third book, because it builds the first book that I'm writing, is on the masculine and feminine dynamics, healing of the masculine and feminine. And then I will write about balance in all of our relationships, in romance, in the corporate world, in life. And then I will write about passion and polarity and these dynamics, codependencies in our world, and sovereignty. And they build. So that's also why in my work, it builds. So I go in phases where I'll talk more about one area versus the other, because they go in tandem. But as a couple, you can't, many teachers teach polarity in a manufactured way. We can't truly have polarity in a way that is so enlivening and healthy. And I say healthy like it's enjoyable. It's not this push-pull that feels this unstable. But we can't truly have that when we don't build and have that solid form of communication. Do the healing work with our masculine and feminine, of work on bringing balance to our partnerships. And then when we do these foundational elements and we've built a freaking house that is solid and secure and nothing can break it, ooh, baby, then we can put in those plush velvet couches. Then we can get us some fancy artwork. Then we can make some magic together. I would love to hear your feedback on this episode. Let me know how it lands. Shoot me a DM, leave any reviews in the comments. I would love to hear how it landed, and share it with someone whom you feel would gain value and enjoy, benefit from this episode. Dig this episode. Expand. Share the expansion of the episode. I never like to be like, never send something because someone's broken. No one's broken here. We're all human beings. It's been such a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, may all your unions be divine.